Thank you for that beautiful book that you gave the members on Armenia today.
Thank you.
Please begin.
I hope you enjoy it. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. Thank you for allowing me to present AB 2534. I'd like to start by accepting the amendment and thank the Chair and his staff for the wonderful work that you've collaborated with my office and my sponsor. The Los Angeles River has undergone significant changes over the last 20 years, despite the need to have channeled the river for purposes of flood control in the early 20th century. The river has been considered an eyesore to some, if not most, Angelenos. That began to change in 1996 when the County of LA developed the Los Angeles River Master Plan for the purposes of revitalizing the river, with the ultimate goal being to return the river to a less polluted, functioning environment while still controlling flooding. Fast forward 11 years later, and the city of LA launched its own plan to promote the revitalization of the river as a multi-benefit solution to addressing the enhancing water quality and flood control while enabling safe access to the river and restoring a functional river ecosystem. Significant improvements have been made in segments along the river with the development of bike trails, outdoor amphitheaters, and natural parks. However, one component continues to be missing: the inclusion of businesses. This bill seeks to fill in the gaps of existing revitalization efforts by establishing a working group to integrate businesses along the river. The Los Angeles River Regional Access and Economic Sustainability Working Group, that's a mouthful, will develop practical recommendations for establishing permanent connectivity between area businesses, bicycle networks, and the river. With me, I have Esther Feldman, President of the Community Conservation Solutions, to testify in support.
Thank you.
Chair, members of the committee, Esther Feldman, President of Community Conservation Solutions. We're a nonprofit based in Los Angeles. 22 years ago, I led the acquisition of the very first public parks along the LA River, the new ones. Just fast forward 22 years, and we've got a lot of progress, as the Assemblyman has noted. But we're missing the integration of businesses, and we're also missing a very detailed conversation about how does that happen, what are the economic incentives that need to be put in place, how do we fund those. We don't imagine that we'll become a San Antonio Riverwalk, but there are pieces of that very lovely Riverwalk that we should be emulating in LA, and we need to have a integrated conversation between environmental leaders, public agencies working on the river, and then nearly 1,000 businesses that are along the 22 miles of the river in the San Fernando Valley. So just half a block away from the river is Ventura Boulevard, one of the biggest commercial strips in the entire San Fernando Valley. We have almost 2 million people in that valley, and yet no real discussion about the regional access that's needed to get those folks to the river. Ask for your support.
Other witnesses in support? Witnesses in opposition? To the committee. Ms. Garcia.
I support your bill, so I'll move it. It hasn't been moved. Are there any tributaries that feed into the LA River in this area? And I only ask that because in the southern part of the LA River there are, and they're often forgotten when we're looking at the master plan or the 51 miles, and they're an important part of the discussion. So if you do, I would recommend you make that clear that they're included in the language as Mr. Rendens, which I'm a co-author, AB 530, has moved forward, and we have the working group, that those tributaries in that area have been forgotten accidentally. So we're trying to fix that.
Be happy to look at it. Sure.
Mr. Harper.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. In reviewing the amendments, I wanted to say that the bill is improved. I would like to see it go further in improvement. Today I'll be not voting, but I'll be looking forward to how the bill evolves and be making final judgment.
Okay.
Chair's recommendation is aye. Please go. Oh, would you like to close?
I respectfully ask for aye vote.
Please call the roll.
The motion is due pass as amended and re-refer to appropriations. Williams? Aye. Williams, aye. Jones? Garcia? Aye. Garcia, aye. Gomez? Hadley? Aye. Hadley, aye. Harper? Not voting. Harper not voting. McCarty? Aye. McCarty, aye. Stone? Aye. Stone, aye. Wood? Aye. Wood, aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. 6-0, your bill is out. Mr. Stone?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. AB 2002 is a bill that's designed to close some loopholes with respect to lobbying of the California Coastal Commission, as well as the way that the ex parte communication process works. It's designed to ensure transparency so that those folks who are, in fact, lobbying the Commission on their land use decisions, that is the sort of the hallmark of what they do, will register, in fact, as lobbyists. This is using the same definition that the FPPC uses in order to define a lobbyist, and that is $2,000 per month income spent in lobbying, or a third of the time that that individual spends in lobbying, they would need to register. Those who lobby the Commission were first excluded from the FPPC, or from the lobbying definition, because of the ex parte rules. But over time, the rules around what lobbyists do, how they report, what they're reporting have changed significantly, and the ex parte rules really have not kept up with that. And that's why we would like to make sure that those who are lobbying the Commission for a decision, lobbying the commissioners themselves, not Commission staff or others, but lobbying the commissioners, the decision makers, are held to that same standard. The other change we'd like to do is with the ex parte communication rules. The Coastal Act allows for certain communications that are done ex parte with commissioners outside of a hearing, and they're designed for the commissioner then to report on what was told to that commissioner in that ex parte conference. Then that becomes a part of the record, so the public has the ability to see what that commissioner is hearing and understand better the reasons behind that commissioner's decision-making process. So under the law, the ex parte communications need to be done in writing if they're done 7 days, if the communication has had 7 days prior to a hearing. After that, they're done on the mic at a commission hearing. We'd like to change that so that the reporting requirement is within 24 hours. And that no ex parte communication is allowed within 24 hours of the actual hearing time. That way we can be sure that the record is clear, can be incorporated, and makes it much easier for the public to see what the commissioners have been hearing, how they make their votes. I do have a couple of witnesses in support, and with that I request your aye votes.
Good afternoon, Chair Williams and committee members. Amy Trainer with the California Coastal Protection Network, here in strong support. I helped coordinate the sign-on letter that has over 3 dozen environmental justice, social justice, civil rights, Native American, environmental, and coastal advocacy organizations, all in strong support of this bill. The fact is that the Coastal Commission is, I think, the only state agency that doesn't require the sort of reporting of ex parte communications and the lobbyists who lobby the Commission. It's not uncommon for projects to come before the Commission in the millions of dollars. We're particularly pleased with the amendments that require in this 7-day window prior to the hearing these extra reporting requirements. They are very important and they are very needed. We feel the coast is our democratic commons and that the Coastal Commission as an agency should be subject, and the lobbyists who lobby it be playing the same rules that everybody else is. So with that, I thank you and urge your aye vote. Thanks.
Good afternoon, Chair Williams, Commission. Committee. My name is Marcela Gutierrez Graudinch. I'm here with Azul. I'm here in support of this bill because coming from a community-based coastal organization, we don't always have the resources or the access to follow the whole context and the proceedings of what happens at these commission hearings and in between. And even though we work very closely with some of my colleagues, our priorities, our needs, and our interests are different for our communities. And to me, this is leveling the field. creating more transparency levels the field for some of us that are interested and willing and participating in these processes, but don't, again, have the access, the connections, the resources to follow this in the métier. The things that could impact my community, other communities of color, low-income communities throughout the state, are access. So in terms of including and increasing constituency and I think empowering Californians throughout the state, information is power, and I think that this is a very good opportunity to level the playing field for many organizations and advocates that could be better prepared to engage in the process. Thank you.
Thank you. Other witnesses in support?
Kelly Doe on behalf of California League Conservation Voters in strong support.
Kyle Jones with Sierra Club California in support.
Kim Shiner with Gilda Bay in support. Thank you.
Julie Snyder representing Planning and Conservation League in support.
Juan Altamirano, Audubon, California in support.
Jennifer Savage, Surfrider Foundation in support.
Eileen Boken, San Francisco resident in support.
Witnesses in opposition? Motion by Wood. All second.
Mr. Chairman, members, Randall Friedman on behalf of military installations in California. We respectfully oppose AB 2002 unless amended to exclude the federal consistency review process and federal employees in the course of their employment. Changing threats throughout the world means we bring complex projects before the Commission that are critical to our evolving military mission. We work hard with the staff to minimize impacts, and we have an excellent record of protecting California's resources. We need the opportunity afforded to state employees and local government employees to talk with commissioners to provide a greater understanding of these projects, the national security issues associated with them. We will continue to work with the authors to find a resolution. Thank you.
Thank you.
Valerie Nera for the California Chamber of Commerce. We are opposed to 2002. It imposes another burden on small businesses operating in the coast, which are already overburdened and overwhelmed with the sheer number of permit requirements from the Commission. This bill subjects these small business owners to register as lobbyist employers should they need the help of, let's say, a general contractor, civil engineers, a biologist with their permit applications. That also subjects them to penalties under the Public Records Act if they miss filing deadlines or have errors in their reports. This creates a disincentive to permit applicants to provide useful information to the commissioners. To avoid costs and liabilities, they may opt to not hire these professionals that speak well on the issues before the Commission.
Other witnesses in opposition? Witnesses with testimony neither in support nor opposition.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. My name is Yeli Gavrich. I'm with the California Association of Realtors, and I just wanted to thank Assemblymember Stone for attending to our concerns and creating some amendments to the bill that clarified our concern where we were afraid that people could not bring like a biologist or an architect to come speak to staff. The bill now clarifies that it's just about lobbying the commissioners, and so we've removed our opposition. Thank you.
Thank you. To the committee. Mr. Harper.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, I'm concerned with the expansion that this has, in which additional folks would be tagged into the lobbying label and be subject to the regulation and penalties thereof, and that people would be dissuaded from participating in the process because of having that additional onerous obligation. I'll be voting in opposition.
Other comments, questions from the committee? Mr. Hadley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Assemblyman Stone, thanks for bringing this bill. I'm persuaded of the need for more transparency and disclosure in who is lobbying the commissioners. I am sensitive to the concerns expressed among the opponents about people getting caught up in things they shouldn't be, and I'm going to support the bill today, but I'd love to take this further with you or your staff and see if we can strike a balance that I can support on the floor as well.
Thank you.
Other questions, comments from the committee? There has been a motion by Garcia, a second by Mr. Williams. Would you like to close?
I would, because I'd like to address that issue. And Mr. Hadley, I really appreciate your willingness to have the conversation. If you think about how the transactions actually happen and why the realtors were here, were opposed, and now things is we clarified that this is not going to apply to any of those experts, anyone who is working with the property owner, anyone even being paid, working with the commission staff. That's where the bulk of the transactions happen. Now you think about who's then talking to commissioners. I'm a former coastal commissioner. We rarely ever heard from the military. We rarely ever heard from a lot of those experts. That information went into staff. We mostly heard from folks whose job it is to be the mouthpiece for the development or for the developers. If there was a circumstance where someone needed to, and from time to time, a biologist, someone would come to me as an individual. Well, if they're charging more than $2,000 for a half-hour or 15-minute meeting, or it's more than a third of their time, then yeah, they might actually be a lobbyist. But if they're planners, if they're geologists, if they're other professionals, they're spending their time with commission staff. That's not subject to this bill. They're not spending their time with the commissioner themselves, either in the ex parte or sort of however else that they're talking with commissioners. And that's why we think that this is really very appropriate, in the existing standard of what a lobbyist is does apply in this circumstance, because given those thresholds, it is those who are paid to be the advocates on a regular basis for the property owners and for the developers, and they have a voice, as well as it's not just the developers and the property owners, but all of the other organizations that speak before the commission that may be opposing a development or trying to get a change in a development. If they're paid, if they're paid more than $2,000, if they spend more than a third of their time, they're going to have to register as lobbyists as well. So it's not going to have a chilling effect at all on getting information to the commission staff, having a property owner, a developer, a city, or a county be heard in this process. But it's just those interactions between the individuals whose job it is to influence decisions of the commission and the commissioners themselves, who are the decision makers. That's who we're getting at here. So most of the opposition, I think, doesn't seem to understand how those interactions actually work and how much time they take. So I appreciate your support, and I'm very, very happy to talk to you about this. And if there are ways that we can continue to modify this to make it clear, I'm very happy to do that. And that will be my close. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Chair's recommendation is aye. Please call the roll.
The motion is due pass and we refer to Appropriations Committee. Williams?
Aye.
Williams, aye. Jones? Jones, no. Garcia? Garcia, aye. Gomez?
Aye.
Gomez, aye. Hadley?
Aye.
Hadley, aye. Harper?
No.
Harper, no. McCarty?
Aye.
McCarty, aye. Stone?
Aye.
Stone, aye. Wood?
6-2, your bill is out. Mr. McCarty?
Musical chairs. Hopefully we won't have to move any for any opposition out there.
Please present.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. I'm pleased to present AB 1716, which would create the Lower American River State Conservancy. First of all, I'd like to accept the committee amendments and thank the staff for working with us. This measure would create, as I said, the Lower American River Conservancy, one of the most visited public parks in California, with over 8 million visitors every year. extends over 5,000 acres, spanning over much of the Sacramento region. This area of Sacramento is known as a jewel of our community, and it has so much more potential, a rare opportunity to have such a large river with accessible wilderness literally right in the middle of a dense urban area. The Parkway is a unique structure in that different areas are owned and maintained by our Sacramento County, the state of California, as well as nonprofit organizations. The proposal before us would create, as I said earlier, a state conservancy with a board consisting of representatives from local governments, state agencies, and public advocates to discuss the best ways to protect and enhance our lower American River Parkway. This diverse board will ensure that the actions taken will both be of benefit to the river, the local jurisdiction, the county, as well as a benefit to the state of California. Want to make sure that this has a focus on local control, but also is consistent with the Parkway Plan, which is an offshoot of the state of California. This conservancy would have the ability, when funds are available, to promote projects which are good for the region and the state, such as stormwater capture, groundwater recharge, water quality improvements, habitat restoration, and, of course, increased public access. With me today are representatives from the City of Sacramento, the County of Sacramento, and a local community advocate. Councilmember Harris.
Each witness has 2 minutes each.
Good afternoon, Chair and members. My name is Jeff Harris. I am a City Council member representing District 3, and within District 3, a large swath of the American River Parkway resides. So, therefore, we have a keen interest in this conservancy. As Councilmember McCarty said, there have been numerous impacts in the Parkway of late from fires, invasive species, and human impacts, and we believe that this conservancy will help materially in us managing those impacts. Overall, we think this is very beneficial for the City of Sacramento, and we're strongly in support.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, thank you very much. My name is Corey Brown. I'm a resident of Sacramento, a Parkway user. I want to thank Assemblyman McCarty for authoring this legislation. We've had the opportunity to work on many conservation projects around the state, including working with legislators to raise funding to establish the Douglas Family Preserve and protect the Gaviota Coast, as well as establish parks along the Los Angeles River and many other places, working in conjunction with willing landowners. The conservancies are a great way of solving problems, bringing local governments, citizens, willing landowners and others together to implement these type of projects. The Lower American River is of national and statewide significance. This legislature recognized it by adding it to the state's Wild and Scenic River System. You passed the Urban American River Parkway Preservation Act, demonstrating again the statewide significance of the measure. And the river is also part of the National Wild and Scenic River System. As Councilman Harris and Assemblymember McCarty mentioned, the conservancy tool is exactly the type of tool to address the issues with the parkway. It is one of the most important and used recreational areas in the state. Urge your aye vote for this. It's a great river. It's a great resource to bring kids out to see nature, to understand. Even the salmon that swim along the river go as far south as Monterey, as far north as Oregon. We hope you'll support the measure.
So a motion, and I will second as amended.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Steve Cruz on behalf of the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors. We were here in strong support of the bill as sponsors. And in fact, I did want to make a couple of comments. And, you know, obviously our support is based upon the reasons that were stated and the fact that it can provide a mechanism for critical need funding for the Parkway. I would say that our involvement in sponsorship relied in large part on the ability to implement what is the American River Parkway Plan. It is a creature of statute and it came about through a long collaborative process, state and local federal agencies. And so I think while we support the bill, I think one of the concerns that we have with the amendments that would strike a link to the county and the parkway manager is that we sort of lose the ability for the management plan to inform the decisions of the conservancy. And we're not looking to have veto authority. I understand that based upon as it was written that you had the chair had some concerns, and so I appreciate your willingness to work with us up until the last minute prior to this hearing. including adding the consultation language, which we think brings us much closer. I think in that regard, I think we just need to go back to our board to see if it's consistent with our adopted policies. But either way, I think we want to try to continue to work with you so that we can stay on as sponsors and help move the bill as it moves out of this committee. And I have Jeff Leatherman just from the county in case you have particular questions.
Thank you. Questions, comments from the committee? The consultation language that...
Sorry, I didn't raise my hand fast enough. My bad.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. McCarty, there's some concern regarding funding, which the bill doesn't address. Are you going to... Is there future plans for funding for the Conservancy, or where are we going with that?
Sure. It's our intent that the Conservancy would be staffed under a program under the Resources Agency, and any funding to make improvements for the Parkway would be subject to future Water Bond Act, Park Bond Act, potentially if there's a nexus, some cap and trade resources for bike and pedestrian connectivity. So minimal funding for state oversight, potential funding down the road for applying for grants.
Other witnesses in support?
Julie Snyder, representing the Planning and Conservation League. I live in Mr. Harris's district, use the river frequently, and we're in very strong support. Thank you.
Juan Altamirano, Audubon, California, in strong support.
Danielle Lynch on behalf of the California Association of Local Conservation Corps in support.
Baldeo Singh, Sacramento Regional Conservation Co. in strong support.
Kyle Jones with Sierra Club, California, in support.
Betsy Weiland, the FEA Nature Center, in strong support if amended, and by amendments, the amendments we've been working on very collaboratively with Senator McCarty and his staff. Thank you. Assembly member.
Stephen Green, Save the American River Association. We're in strong support.
I'd promote him too if I could.
We concur.
Claire Scott on behalf of California Trout in support.
Witnesses in opposition? Witnesses with testimony neither in support nor opposition? Back to the committee. Comments, questions? The consultation language that was referred to is not in print. It is handwritten right here, and it reads, "The Conservancy shall consult with the County of Sacramento on whether its actions are consistent with the Parkway Plan." And that's what we'll do for now. And of course, if the county has suggestions, of course, the committee would entertain them.
Thank you.
And with that, the chair's recommendation is aye. Would you like to close?
Yes, thank you. I just certainly want to ask for your aye vote, but also it was critical when I went to our county to present this approach that we would focus on two things: being consistent always with the Parkway Plan, which is a creature of the state, and also focus on local control. So thank you for those suggestions, but as we go forward, if there's a way that's amenable that we can clarify it better, we'd love to, but certainly want to work with the committee through appropriations and the other house.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
The motion is due pass as amended and re-referred to Appropriations Committee. Williams?
Aye.
Williams, aye. Jones?
Not voting.
Jones not voting. Garcia? Aye. Garcia, aye. Gomez? Aye. Gomez, aye. Hadley?
Not voting.
Hadley not voting. Harper?
Not voting.
Harper not voting. McCarty?
Aye.
McCarty, aye. Stone? Wood?
Four zero. We'll leave the roll open for absent members.
Thank you.
Mr. Gomez?